So this is the first video I'm recording in hopes of creating an educational channel for marketing, business, and entrepreneurship. And if you're watching it on the raw channel, then there are no edits. So be prepared to see a lot of fails. Without further ado, I won't delay it any longer. Hey there, and welcome to the video. Today I'll be talking about creating a marketing plan, part 1. So let's dive into it. So first off, when you are creating a marketing plan, you want to create two things. First off being the offer, second being the customer persona. Let's go into the offer first. So before you market or advertise, think about the offer your product or service actually has. Quoting a Harvard Business School professor, Theodore Levitt, people don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill, they want to buy a... People don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill, they want a quarter-inch hole. So this is important to understand for the first step, and we will be elaborating on this in a bit. But here are the 3 steps to identify offers in the products or services that you have. First, write down every benefit, not feature, of your product or service. So you want to write benefits and not features because people justify purchases based on features, but they buy based on benefits. So your product or service is a path or a method to help your customers get from point A to point B. And in other words, they want your product or service to do something for them, just like the quote earlier. And basically, it's just to help them. Basically, you just want to help find your benefits. Sorry about that. So to help find your benefits, you should ask yourself these questions. So how does it benefit customer persona A, B, C, etc.? So I'm kind of skipping ahead a bit, but this is tied into the next part, which is equally as important. The first step was to write down every benefit. The next step is to write down what problems your product solves. So let's say you are selling televisions. This is just a quick example. What problem does a TV solve? Because honestly speaking, people can live without television. However, people still buy televisions. So why is that? Because one thing you can't do without a screen in general is you can't watch content on the internet or maybe cable TV. So you need a screen, and one of those screens can be a television. So what's the difference between a cheap television and an expensive, really high-end television? And what are the benefits of a high-end television compared to a cheap television? Well, higher quality is one thing, but that's more of a feature. What you want to sell in benefits is you are going back maybe 20, 30 years back when TVs weren't that advanced. Basically, you needed a kind of antenna to get the signal from the satellites. That's how you watch TV. So a benefit of new TVs versus old TVs would be something like you will always have connection. You will always be able to view, and yeah, you don't need an antenna anymore. So no longer will you have fuzzy screens and having to adjust the antenna and all of that. Instead, now you can just turn on the TV and all the shows that you want to watch are basically that. So then the third step in creating an offer is to write down potential emotional So the third step in creating an offer is to write down potential emotional triggers, because people buy based more on emotion than on logic. So some examples of emotional triggers are pride, fear, happiness, jealousy, guilt, etc. If you've seen many ads from things like KFC to McDonald's, yes, they are promoting their food, but they are kind of promoting a feeling as well. So sometimes, at least in Malaysia, you will see KFC ads try and invoke the feeling of family. It's a very common theme for their ads. Whereas McDonald's here in Malaysia, they do a variety of things. Most of the time, it's kind of hype. It's kind of about getting the new best thing. So I think it was last month, I'm not sure if the offer expired. Basically, they were promoting something called their sumo burger or samurai burger. It was 3 different burgers that are in one theme. So they were saying like, it's the new thing, get it while it's here because it's going to go away. So yeah, think about the emotional triggers that you want to invoke when creating an offer. The next thing you want to do when creating a marketing plan is to create the customer persona. So let's say you've already created the offer, but now you do need to know who exactly your customers are. One way to do so is to create a customer persona. You can create a simple persona by doing the following, and it's a really long list, which is write down everything about your perfect customer. So everything really means everything. It could be their gender, income, age, relationship status, occupation, family status, where do they live, etc. So there are definitely more things that you can list down, but this is just a good start and just an example. The more details you can pinpoint, the higher the chance that your marketing strategy will work. Next thing you want to probably note down would be, where will you find these people? So where do these people hang out? In physical locations like malls, parks, or do they prefer to be at home? Online spots? Are they in specific Facebook groups? Do they browse specific websites? Do they go to specific forums? That's for you to find out. What do they read? For what kind of magazines do they read? One thing that comes to mind is Reader's Digest. I'm not sure if it's still on, but I'm pretty sure it still is. So Reader's Digest, I don't read it, but it's definitely for certain types of people. Who do they follow on Twitter? What type of tweets do they read? Or maybe what type of blogs do they read or follow? And another thing to think about is, who do they listen to? Who are their influencers? Who are the industry leaders that are kind of influence the perspective of your customer? And maybe what podcasts do they listen to? So these would be the kind of traditional examples of things to note down, aka demographics. Something else that you can add to your customer persona are something called psychographics. So psychographics are basically, what do your customers believe in? When you have both the offers and the personas ready, it's time to match them. The right offer for the right persona. This part may make you go back to the drawing board, as you realize there are some things that you missed out on, and that's completely fine, because you just want to continue to tweak your offers and personas, and when you feel confident, you can move on to the next step, which is part 2, and that is creating the sales funnel. That's pretty much it for part 1 of this creating a marketing plan video. I'll be sharing more about how to create a sales funnel in the next one. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.